Welcome. It's Kevin Sedbeck, Chief Safety Officer for S3 Consultants. And today on this module, we're going to talk about employee standards for noise exposure. And this is one of the standards that is shared with the FAA as per their MOU. And we will talk about that more here in a minute. And just a reminder, we've already seen this once, but we'll touch on it a few more times. The FAA OSHA Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU, from 2014, and the three standards that is sharing with OSHA when the aircraft is in operation. And remember, only one agency can have jurisdiction at a time. And so OSHA standards apply until the aircraft is in operation, then FAA standards apply to the aircraft, specifically in the cockpit, the flight deck, which will not be shared with OSHA ever. It's the FAA's responsibility for safety there. And those standards are hazard communication, bloodborne pathogen exposure, and occupational noise exposure, which is what we'll be covering today. So occupational noise exposure, often called the Hearing Conservation Program, the federal regulations dictate a structured approach to protecting employees from noise-induced hearing loss. And so this is one of the standards that goes into the tube or anywhere outside the flight deck or cockpit that you must ensure that you're following. If you have flight attendants or maintenance people that ride in the back or anything like that, or you're going to have to address it for your maintenance team anyway when they're outside working on the aircraft riveting or something like that. So you should strive to have a good noise exposure program. Hearing protection doesn't cost that much, and especially the foamy earplugs, probably not the best, but it does reduce it by 25 26 decibels. And the only issue is that you do have to do annual hearing tests, but we'll cover more of that later. What are the elements of a hearing conservation program? Noise assessment, engineering, admin controls, personal protective equipment, audiometric testing, record keeping, and training. Always with occupational safety, there'll always be some type of training. Moving on to the next slide, occupational noise exposure, how to protect your employees. You have to do a noise assessment in order to determine if hearing conservation is required. Data must first be collected if exposure is 85 decibels or greater over an 8-hour period, then your company will qualify. And so this is a little bit more than just what it says. This is where you need expert people to come in and assist you developing this 8-hour exposure greater than 85 decibels. It's a weighted and kind of calculated agenda item. If you want to know more about it, please contact us and we can help you address that situation. Audiometric testing and record keeping. So if it's determined that you need to have a hearing conservation program, and most aviation companies probably need to have it, is that you'll have to do baseline and testing within 6 months of an annual recurrence. So if they get tests October this year, then next year within a plus or minus 3-month window, they'll have to be tested again on October 26th. Engineering admin controls. Well, in this case, you're not going to engineer the aircraft to be quieter. That design feature was done by the manufacturer. So what you'll have to do is admin controls, which means you'll have to require your employees to wear hearing protection of some type, either the foamies inside the ear or some type of more strict hearing protection. Personal protective equipment, as an employer, you will have to provide that for the employee. And you can get those at reputable companies, Alaska Industrial Hardware up in Alaska, Granger and Fastenal down in the lower 48 and in Alaska. Personal protective equipment, like I said, that'll be the foamies and other PPE required to reduce the occupational noise exposure to meet the OSHA requirements for this. And training, as always, you'll have to get training, generally consistent of educating employees on effective noise exposure, hearing loss, and proper use of PPE. I'll double check to make sure that standard is not one that requires a test. HAZCOM does, and I think bloodborne pathogen does too, but I'll confirm that, and it'll be annotated on the video. So in summary, hearing conservation programs are built on good data testing and document retention. So you have to really be good about retaining the hearing conservation program documents, their audiometric testing, because you have to retain it for the entire time the employee is working for the company. So you have to have a good filing system. Most people, the old file cabinets aren't being used anymore. It's all digitally documented. Audiometric testing results are considered protected health information and subject to HIPAA. That's the biggest thing. So you have to be very careful with this information because of HIPAA regulations. Now, as an occupational safety expert or doing an investigation or HR, they have access to this information, but not everybody should be able to see it. Hearing loss is a lifelong injury, and everyone needs to do their part to prevent this, because this is where it'll hurt you later, is that the employee may come back, some type of disability compensation lawsuit, because hearing aids are expensive and they may try and get some type of compensation for hearing aids. I'm retired military, so through the VA, I have to get hearing aids through them, and I'm a retired pilot with 5,000 hours, most of it in the military. When they did the assessment, I got service connected for my left ear, but not my right. And that could happen to you as a civilian employee or a private employer when one of your employees comes back to you and can show evidence that you did not protect them from hearing loss. So this is something in the long run that you really want to protect yourself against, and you want to make sure that the employees that are working for you in high noise areas are being protected in order to protect their hearing loss and protect you from future legal ramifications that could impact your company. If you have any questions, contact us at S3 Consultants. We have the experts, subject matter experts, that can help you with developing a program, checking on your program to make sure it meets all the state and federal requirements, and let us help you make your system safer. So this is Kevin Sebek, Chief Safety Officer with S3 Consultants, and have a great day.